Hello and welcome to day 2 of financial frequency. I'm so glad that you are here, but before we dive into today's training, let's take a moment to do our visualization. It's going to be the same one that we did at the start of the first video, but I want you to go through it to just land in this space, to just get into the right energy so that we can continue with our level 2 wealth attunement in the later part of this video. As we dive into this visualization, I want you to just take note if what you see when you connect with your next level self, that next level of wealth in this visualization, if what you see is the same as what you saw yesterday when you did this, or if it has changed now. Either way is totally fine. Whatever you see is valid. Just be open to letting yourself connect with whatever comes up for you. But I just want you to take note of, have some things changed? Has my idea of wealth changed? Has my idea of what my life will look like or feel like at that next level of wealth changed at all since I did this exercise in the previous video? Because sometimes as we dive into this stuff, as we start rewiring our mindset and our thoughts, our next level self evolves and shifts and we get more clarity on it than we knew was available to us previously. So let's dive into this now. Take a deep breath, get comfortable, go somewhere you can be uninterrupted for just a few minutes, close your eyes, relax, and let's dive in. Take a deep breath and imagine that there's a doorway in front of you. A portal, a gateway, an archway, whatever feels right to you. In a moment, you're going to imagine yourself stepping through that doorway. And when you do, you will be stepping into the future, into a point in time where you have reached your next level of wealth, where the goals you have for your money right now have already manifested into your reality. Take another deep breath and see yourself stepping through this doorway into your next level of wealth. Take a look around until you locate the future version of you who has all the money that you desire. What does this version of you look like? Where are they? What are they doing? How much money are they making or do they have? How does being in this future reality feel to you? Can you feel the energy of this place and time? Can you sense the energetic frequency of this level of wealth? Take in all the details you can of this next level. Lock them in your mind. Whatever comes to you is perfect. Whatever doesn't matter. As you take everything in, you sense a deep knowing awakening in your soul. And you know that this is who you are destined to be. This version of you here, in this next level of wealth, is simply a reflection of your limitless and abundant nature. And you also know that the path to this version of you and all the wealth that you desire will not require you to sacrifice the truest parts of yourself, but rather will be a journey of remembering your power and a homecoming to the truest, most prosperous expression of your soul. When you're ready, take another deep breath and open your eyes, coming back to this present moment, knowing that all of this wealth, this next level version of you, is available to you. And we're going to move toward it together now. Hello again. I am so excited to dive into our training today because today we get to dive into attuning your energy to that of your next level of wealth, the version of you who you just connected with. This is honestly my favorite part of wealth embodiment. It's my favorite part of upgrading my financial frequency because this piece of working on the energetic side of attuning to my next level of wealth, this just feels so good, and it also just seems to unlock so much both within me and in my external reality when it comes to money. But before we dive into it, I want to check in with you on how you're feeling after day 1 of this series. How did you do with thinking the thoughts that your next level self would be thinking throughout the day yesterday? Were you able to continually think them throughout the day? Did you find yourself reverting back to old thoughts or losing the ability to hold these new elevated thoughts? Did you just do the exercise or the activation after yesterday's video once and then forget to think those thoughts that your next level self would be thinking for the rest of your day entirely? Or did you just not do the activation or the self-led journaling prompt exercise at all? If that is you, if you didn't do either the activation or the journaling prompt exercise, then I'm going to lovingly call you out here and challenge you to pause this video, go back to the day 1 video, and go do one of those options, one of those exercises. Then you can come back to this video. If you found yesterday, or if you find today or tomorrow that doing these exercises or these activation feels clunky or hard or challenging, that first of all, that's very normal. You are not alone. But like I said in the previous video, if you don't change, nothing in your reality with money or anything else can change either. What we're doing here may seem simple, it may seem challenging, it may even feel silly at times. But if you're still here watching this video, which is the second in this series, then I'm going to guess that this sort of work resonates with you and that you maybe just need to get out of your own way a little bit and challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone, or challenge those thoughts that says this isn't going to work, or this is too hard, or this isn't actually going to have an impact on my life, and just play with it. What's the worst that can happen? Just try, just play with it and see over time what happens. Give yourself even just a day or 2 of really committing to each of these exercises and just see what happens. If nothing, or if it feels terrible, you don't have to do it anymore. This might not be the right path for you, but I encourage you to really get out of that comfort zone and just allow the ego to release its hold a little bit on where you currently are and on your thoughts and on that internal narrative, and really allow yourself to open up to a different path around money. Ultimately, I don't want you to underestimate the power of this work, and I don't want you to cut any corners. Now, if you did either the self-led journaling prompts or the activation yesterday, but still found it hard to hold the thoughts that your next level self would be thinking throughout the day, then that is normal. I promise you, you are not alone, because this work is challenging. So if you can only think the thoughts of your next level self for a few minutes a day, that's incredibly powerful. It will over time start to have an effect on your life. If you can do it more, then that's even more powerful, and it will start to have a bigger impact on your life in an even shorter amount of time. The goal is to be able to embody your next level self more and more and more over time. So do as much of this embodiment work as you can each day, and then do a little bit more the next day and a little bit more the next day. The idea is that the more that you can be in the habit of embodying your next level self, the more you become your next level self. And then the more your reality transforms around you to match that new version of you that you're becoming. So once you're able to get to a point where you are embodying your next level self all day, every day, each moment, and that's just your second nature, that's now who you become, then you've become your next level self. And in doing so, you're naturally thinking differently, feeling differently, and acting differently, basically operating at a different financial frequency. And then your reality starts to shift, and the money starts to change in the way that it flows in your life, and your financial reality changes to catch up with who you have become. I know this work is challenging. This is what virtually everyone struggles with when they start doing this wealth embodiment work, and when they start intentionally becoming the conscious creator of their financial reality. This piece of it, this holding that embodiment, this training your mind and your energy and your actions over time to become that of a different version of you, this is what I have struggled with the most in the past. And it's what I continue to learn more about and grow around and master at every new level of wealth that I reach. Because this work happens at all levels. It really does. Each new level of wealth requires a new rewiring of yourself, a new level of embodiment, a new financial frequency, a new set of thoughts and energies and habits to learn and become. This is why I am so excited to launch the Wealth Vibe membership that I mentioned in yesterday's video. And I will tell you more about it later, but it's actually going to open for enrollment tomorrow, like the day that the day 3 video in the series goes up. And I am so excited for that because I have seen now for years, both in myself and in my clients and in my audience and in the work that I do, the need for a space where people can come and step into and hold the embodiment of their next level of wealth, where they'll have a like-minded community and resources and a safe space to practice being that next level version of them, really being in their unique wealth vibe. Also that they can manifest all the abundance that they desire into their lives with more ease and more expediency than ever before. I honestly cannot wait for this to open up, and I will tell you more later on. But for now, I encourage you to be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself as you do these wealth embodiment exercises and attunements that we're going through in this series. Celebrate that you are here. Celebrate that you're actually doing this work. That's more than most people do, and that's why most people are perpetually stuck or struggling around money. And of course, keep showing up for it. Keep showing up for this sort of work, for this embodiment. All right, with that being said, let's dive into today's training and wealth attunement. So now that you're clear on the thoughts that your next level self would be thinking, especially around money, and you've started to attune your thoughts to that next level, it's time to do the same with your energy. Now, what do I mean when I say energy? I mean the way you feel the majority of the time when you move through your day. Now, let me be so clear here. I am not talking about your emotional state. I am not talking about your emotions. I am of the belief that your emotions are not something that you should try to bypass or manipulate or force to change in a certain way, especially if you know your human design. And if you don't know your human design, don't worry, it's not necessary for this training. This is just a little aside. But if you know your human design and you have a defined solar plexus in your chart, meaning an emotional authority in your chart, you will likely find that it is incredibly difficult to make yourself feel one emotion when you are feeling a very different emotion to start with. And that's because you're not meant to do that. With a defined solar plexus or an emotional authority, you are meant to embrace your emotions and let them guide you to determine when the right time is to act or make decisions and when it's not. But that's a whole other more human design related conversation, so just an aside there. But my point here is that your energy is not your emotions. Your emotions, while sometimes influenced by your energy, are not your energy. Your energy is more of a vibe or a feeling that you carry yourself with. It's the energy you emit out into the world, because you can be very confident, which is more of an energy, even when you're sad, which is more of an emotion. You can feel very eager and optimistic for what's to come while also going through something that makes you feel angry, or when going through something that makes you feel happy. The difference between your energy and emotions is a subtle one, and it is a very imperceptible one for most people. But your energy goes much deeper than your emotions. And this is where so many people get confused, especially with embodiment work. They say, feel like you'll feel when you have all the money you desire. And yeah, that's the right general statement, but that doesn't mean feel happy and excited all the time right now because that's how you'd feel when you have all the money you want. Instead, it means carry yourself with the same energy you would carry yourself with if you had all the money you desire. Carry yourself through the highs and lows of life like you would when you have all of that wealth. Because the truth is that even when you have all the money you desire, you will still have days where you feel sad, or days where you feel angry, or any other less than desirable emotion. But the way that you would respond and comport yourself when you had those negative emotions pop up, when you have all that money you desire, that probably looks different than how you respond to those negative emotions within yourself now, right? Maybe not for everyone, but for quite a few of you, that's going to be the case. I know that's typically the case for me. So for example, if you had all the money you desire, would you make a big deal of it when you feel sad? Or would you just honor that you feel sad in that moment and do whatever you need to do to move through that sadness or process whatever's going on, and not stress about it or wallow in it unnecessarily, or let it create stories in your mind of, I'm so sad, so I'm not motivated, so I can't work in my business, or I can't do well in this job interview, and then I can't get this job, or I can't make the money I want, or blah, 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 blah. Now, if you can easily manipulate your emotions and that works for you for embodiment, go for it. I can do that sometimes. I have an undefined solar plexus in human design. So for me, shifting my emotional state, manipulating my emotions, deciding which emotion I want to feel and calibrating to it, that comes easily to me at times. And when I can shift my emotions to be more in line with the emotions of my next level self, I can then often more easily shift my energy to be in line with my energetic next level. But also sometimes I can't easily shift my emotions. So in those instances, I instead just focus on shifting my underlying energy. Because what we really want to focus on here, what I'm really trying to get you to have more conscious awareness of and mastery over, is the deeper energy beneath your emotions. That's what we want to attune to our next level self. We really want to be looking at how we're carrying ourselves through our emotions and through our day and through our life. This is, of course, influenced by the thoughts you think and what you focus on, which is, again, why it is so important that we did that work in video 1, where we focused on attuning your thoughts and your mindset to your next level self, to that next level of wealth, before we started diving into this energetics piece of it today. But to sum it up, before we dive into our attunement practices for today, we are focusing on embodying the energy of wealth. Because again, think about it. Wealth is not an emotion, and it's not a certain amount of money in the bank or a certain lifestyle. It's a state of being. And that energy of wealth looks different for everyone because everyone has a different definition of wealth and a different level of wealth that they desire. Why it is so important to embody the energy of wealth is because on a vibrational level or a law of assumption level or a law of attraction level, whatever terminology you want to use, this is the thing that makes you a vibrational match for the money you desire. It's what draws that money to you and eliminates any energetic resistance you have to receiving it. And on a more physical level, our energy influences the actions we take and the way we take them, which influences the different outcomes and results and money we see in our lives. But we will talk more about that in the day 3 video tomorrow. So today we are going to get clear on what the energy of wealth feels like to you, what it feels and looks like to carry that energy of wealth in your life. And then you will try to hold the energy of wealth throughout the rest of your day today. In a moment, I'm going to walk you through how to do this. I'm going to give you the step-by-step process that you can use to actually start embodying this energy of your next level of wealth. But just like in yesterday's video, this video has another bonus activation that accompanies it. Again, this bonus activation is completely free. All you have to do to get it is comment below on this video and say activation, please. This is a different activation than yesterday's activation. It accompanies specifically this part of attuning your financial frequency. So be sure to comment below. Even if you commented on yesterday's video, comment here again and say activation, please, or something along those lines, so that I can give you access to today's energetic activation. The activation will naturally guide you through all the steps we're about to cover and even more, and bring different modalities that I like to use into it, and just be something you can turn to whenever you want to tap into this energy of wealth for yourself. I highly recommend grabbing a copy of it since it is free, but of course, if you would prefer to just guide yourself through this process, if you're more of a journaling person, then just take the prompts and the steps that I'm going to give you in the following section of this video, and also those prompts will be in the description below the video as well. So this is our level 2 wealth attunement practice for our energy. Now, option number 1 is that you can just comment below and say activation, please, and I will give you access to the guided activation that walks you through all of these steps. I will reply to you with access as soon as I possibly can once you comment, so be sure to do that right now if you want this activation. And option number 2 is to follow the steps below and guide yourself through this process. Step 1 is to get clear on what the energy of wealth feels like to your next level self. You can ask yourself questions like, what energy does your next level self emanate wherever they go when they walk into a room? How do they make others feel? What is the impact they have on others? How does your next level self respond to any positive or negative emotions they feel? Step 2 is then to pick 1 to 3 words that describe what the energy of wealth feels like to you. It's all right if some of these words are more emotions, if that's what feels right to you, but I'd encourage you to go deeper with words that are maybe more like ease or confidence or flow or powerful, something like that. Step number 3 is to set a timer for 60 seconds and think of a time when you felt this energy before. Even if it's not related to money, that's okay. Summon that energy into your body and sit with it, holding it there and allowing it to grow and amplify and radiate outward from you. Once the timer goes off, you'll do step 4, which is to go about your day, embodying this energy of wealth as much as you can throughout your day. When you catch yourself not embodying this energy or even slipping into a different, less abundant energy, just gently come back to this energy of wealth. Now, just like yesterday's wealth attunement when we were focusing on our thoughts, this one of focusing on holding this energetic state is tricky. In fact, I think this piece, the energetic piece, is the hardest one for people to truly understand and embody. And that's because it's a little indescribable, right? It's not something we have a lot of vocabulary for. It's something that transcends words because it's not thought, it's energy. And it's also not something that we're traditionally taught to be aware of within ourselves. So be kind and patient with yourself today as you go about embodying the energy of wealth and what that means to you. And I will say again that this is a huge reason why I have created the Wealth Vibe membership, because I see so many people teaching this sort of work, which is amazing. I love seeing all of the law of attraction teachers, all of the law assumption teachers, all of the people who teach meditation and visualization and scripting and all sorts of different manifestation modalities. But almost everything we see out there teaches us how to connect with that next level and with what we want and with our manifestations and desires. But there isn't really a place out there that facilitates being in that embodied state, really holding that next level now. Because the truth is that holding that embodiment is a marathon, not a sprint. It is, in and of itself, the act of holding a new way of being until it becomes your default way of being. And that takes time and commitment. It doesn't have to take long, and it does get easier the more that you do it, the more you practice the skill, the more that you embody a new level, reach that new level, then embody another one, and then another one, and then another one. You get better at the skill of embodiment itself. But it's so hard to do because it's unfamiliar, and there are so many things in our world that pull us out of our embodied state. So that's what the Wealth Vibe is. It's a membership that I've been creating for over 8 months now to create a space where you can come and easily be in that embodied state and hold that embodiment of your next level of wealth. It's intended to help you practice and get in the habit of being in that next level of wealth right now, before all the money you desire shows up, before all the riches and all the freedom and all the abundance that you're dreaming of and manifesting comes into your reality, because that's what will make it come into your reality. And the point of the Wealth Vibe membership is not just to get you in the habit of embodiment, but to also facilitate that embodiment with things like tools, tips, trainings, resources, a high vibe community. Honestly, that's, I think, the most important piece of what we're doing here, is that it's a like-minded community of people who get it, who get this practice, who get manifestation, and who get mindset work, and who get embodiment, and who are all doing the same thing alongside you. I really can't wait to open the doors to the Wealth Vibe membership tomorrow once our next video goes up. And if you are watching this video down the road, I will of course be sure to come back here and drop a link below this video to the Wealth Vibe membership if you are interested in that once enrollment is open, so that you can come and join us. But really, I could go on and on and on about this. This is something that I'm clearly very passionate about and excited about. But what I would love for you to do is, as you go about your embodiment work today, after you do either those self-led journaling prompts or the activation that you can get by commenting activation please in the comments below, once you've done either or both of those exercises, I want you to go about your day today embodying the energy of wealth, whatever that looks like for you. But pay attention to what pulls you out of that embodied state versus what makes it easy to access that embodied state for you. Do you notice that maybe when you're scrolling social media, you are pulled out of that energy of wealth? Do you notice that when you're thinking about the future and things that haven't happened yet, that you start to feel maybe stressed and pulled out of this energy? Do you notice that maybe when you're out for a walk in nature or with your dogs or with your partner or your best friend, you feel more of that connection to that wealthy energy? Or do you notice that maybe when you're listening to a certain type of music or reading a certain kind of book or a different genre of book, that you're more easily able to tap into this energy of abundance? Bring awareness to this sort of stuff, because it's going to help you start to see where you can make tiny tweaks in your life to better facilitate this energetic embodiment. And it's also going to be part of what we work on tomorrow in our third and final wealth attunement. Now, one last note before I leave you here. You can continue to do yesterday's exercise of aligning your thoughts to your next level self's thoughts as you start to also align your energy to your next level's energy. But I would recommend just focusing on your energy today. Tomorrow, we will tie all of this together so that you are doing all 3 parts of this wealth attunement at once, and it will make a lot more sense of what that looks like. It's very simple, but we'll tie that all up in tomorrow's video. But I want you to just focus on each piece, because what we'll find is that some people struggle a little bit more with the thoughts attunement, and other people struggle a little bit more with the energetic attunement, and other people struggle a little bit more with the action attunement that we're doing tomorrow. So it all does come together and work together. And of course, you want to be doing all 3 of these things in order to fully upgrade your financial frequency and really step into that next level of wealth. But what we're doing here in the series is just starting to learn how to do each piece, so that when we bring them all together, it gets to be a lot easier and clearer of where maybe the weaker points are for us and what we specifically as an individual need to focus on, all that sort of stuff. So I would recommend not stacking the practices over these 3 days, but instead just giving your attention to each embodiment practice and attunement each day, and then we'll bring it all together tomorrow, I promise. All right, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to go and do either the self-led journaling prompt practice in the description below, or comment below to get access to the activation, and then go do that for this module. And then once you've done that, I would love to hear in the comments how it all goes for you. Let me know what the energy of wealth feels like to you, what words you come up with to describe that. And of course, you are welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow to really help you step into that final level of wealth attunement and upgrade your financial frequency. I will see you then.